What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I thank you for taking the time on this beautiful Friday night. I hope you're all having yourselves a great start to your weekend. Let the fun begin. We've got one more preseason game tomorrow. Cannot wait. We've been talking about this roster, obviously, since the draft, adding free agents, here and there, but we've been breaking everything down, talking about how we feel this roster is going to play out. Love to have heard your thoughts throughout the offseason, giving you guys my thoughts, seeing how this team really is building a contender for the foreseeable future, in my eyes. So let's talk about it tonight. We're going to go through and do the updated 53-man roster projection and also the depth chart. Going to go through. We're going to look at every position. Going to give you the depth chart at each position. We're going to be looking at how many guys we have at each position. I'll show you every single piece of information you need to know before that last preseason game tomorrow. You'll know what to be looking for, who to be looking for, who's competing for what. And then I'm going to give you my opinion on who I have making this team. And then after that game next week, I will hit you with my final 53-man roster projection. And we will know by Tuesday, 4 o'clock, who this roster is. And I cannot wait for it. So let's go. My man BMO in the building. What is going on, dude? Hope you are off to a great start to your weekend here. And that goes for everybody else out there. Appreciate you taking the time, hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, whatever you're doing to support me. I truly appreciate you. But if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to let me hear them. Whether we're going through the offense, the defense, whatever it is, you have any questions or whatever it is, just let me have it. But let's get this bad boy started. Let's talk about what we are going to be putting out here on Sundays. Because, and look, we know that there's a 16-man practice squad. I'm going to give you a projection on that with my next updated 53-man, the last one. So we're going to talk about that. So there are some things that could happen because of that. 16 guys can go on there, 4 veterans. So a lot of things to be talked about. And, we're going to break down who Howie and Nick and all these guys have as the best at each position and which positions need to keep more than others. So let's break it all down. Let's get things started with the offense, ladies and gentlemen. And we know Shane Steichen took over play calling duties last year, and this team took a turn for the better. We started running the damn ball, finally allowing our first year starting quarterback to, not throw the ball 30 plus times a game. So doing things that help, accentuate the player's skill sets, but also, you don't just put them in situations where they're going to get, just look like trash and not going to get any development. So we learned how to, work this offense, running the ball, best offensive line in the game, but we had a lot of holes. So we went out this offseason. We added a bunch of pieces, but on offense, not too much. We added the center of the future and, of course, a superstar wide receiver and A.J. Brown. So a little bit excited there, but I don't think we needed to tweak it too much. We need to see the development of Jalen Hurts. We need to open up this playbook. We need to hope that he progresses and just really continue building on what we had last year. So you continue that running attack, but I think you see more passing plays this year. We ran the ball more than anyone, and that's why we were the number one rushing attack. Well, we were in the number one rushing attack because we had the best damn line in the game, but ran the ball a lot. And look, we're going to do that again. And, we have the team, to do that. So I'm perfectly fine with it. Whatever gets the job done. And when you have a good defense that allows you, to pound the rock like that. So got a much improved defense. We're going to talk about all that too. So let's get into this offense, but we have a few comments here. Let's go. You know it. Quez Watkins days away and I cannot wait. So look, I'm going to try not to have a heart attack before the season starts or end up in the hospital again. Nothing will stop me from enjoying this damn season and hopefully watching this team that I thought could be a contender last year really compete this year. And man, it is truly looking as each week goes by that this team really could be a contender. So holy shit, I'm excited. I cannot lie to you. What's going on, my man? AK in the building. Hope you're doing well. Hope your weekend is off to a great start. That goes for you as well, Keon. And Prime Time in the building. Yo, what's going on, my man? Hope you are doing well, Steven. And look, we're going to get into this. So whatever you guys have on your mind, let me hear it. But got a lot of stuff here, a lot of graphics. So let's get it moving. Don't want to make this too long a video, but here you go. You've got your quarterbacks competing here. We know Jalen Hurts is QB1, baby. Let's go. Gardner Minshew, the backup. But is he a trade piece? Sure. I mean, if the right person calls with the right price, hey-oh, that could happen. But the question is, do you trust what is beyond? Gardner Minshew. So Reed Sinnett, he's got a strong arm. People losing their mind this offseason about him. I'm going to be real with you. I don't see it, but he's still a young quarterback. So just like with Jalen Hurts or any other young quarterback, takes some time to develop. So we'll see what becomes of the young man, but has a couple years under his belt. We'll see if the Eagles want to keep him around. But my thought process is, man, do the Eagles keep 2 or 3? This is something we've talked about a lot, and you saw Nick Sirianni was just asked about this. So we thought maybe it would be between Reed Sinnett, Carson Strong for that QB3 spot. And Carson Strong, obviously this kid had some talent, but he had a knee injury in college, thought that would hold him back, and it did. So went undrafted, but my thought process is maybe we're just trying to hide him from other teams. He hasn't been getting playing time. He will get playing time tomorrow. I think half of the game goes to Reed, the other half goes to Carson, and you find out if one of these guys wants to be QB3. But this was honestly one of the hardest things, and this is what we're starting off with for me. But I changed it from last time, and this is one of the only things I really changed was right here at quarterback. And look, I feel that Reed Sinnett could definitely be part of the future. If you want him to be the backup of the future, that's awesome. But I think you could also get away with trying to stash him on the practice squad. Maybe another team comes along and grabs him. Maybe they do the same with Carson Strong. But I just feel like maybe both of these guys haven't shown so much that I feel some of these other guys on this roster are going to lose a spot because of it. So maybe we talk about, having that huge practice squad. Maybe you can stash one of those quarterbacks on there and then hope that, nothing happens. And then you only need to rely on these two. So that would be great. But again, you guys remember from the last show, I was torn here. I like to keep 3 a lot. Last year we had 3, the initial 53-man roster with Joe Flacco there. But I just really feel that we're maybe going to roll with 2. And that's what was in my heart. Talked to my buddy earlier who works with these guys. And, I was telling him, look, I'm going on live tonight. I don't know if I want to keep 2 or 3. And he told me, his recommendation was to keep 3. And I said, look, I had 3 before, and that's what I wanted to roll with. But I'm going with 2 today. That's just where my heart's at. We'll see tomorrow if one of these guys can show me something. And then maybe next week we're back to 3. We'll see which guy that is. But for me right now, don't feel that the Eagles need to keep a 3rd quarterback. I just feel that, and if you miss on both of those guys going to the practice squad, well, then you just grab somebody else. So, I mean, that's my opinion right now. And, that could definitely change. So, we'll see what happens. Carson hasn't been given a chance, I believe. Yeah, he hasn't. So he had 1 pass attempt last week. So yes, that's what I'm saying. Tomorrow, I think that he will play half the game, and he needs to. He and Reed Sinnett, or if they really like him and they want to keep him on ice, but I don't think that's going to work. I think other teams know what the kid is capable of when healthy. So somebody would probably snag him off of your practice squad, and that might be something we have to do. But we're going to find out tomorrow if he's got the playbook down, they feel comfortable, what's going on there, and then I'll have a different opinion. But this was honestly the hardest thing for me to do, and not the hardest. It was all pretty hard. You got to make it fit 53. So I can't imagine being, all of these guys trying to figure it out. So we'll see. But on the running back, we let go of DeAndre Torrey. So we're back to these 5 guys competing. And again, there are guys like Jordan Howard still out there. Latavius Murray still out there. Devontae Booker. You've got veteran guys, power backs. If you're looking for somebody that has veteran presence and goal line experience, you got it right there. And, just those 3 I mentioned. But there are more than that, man. You want to go for a Kalen Ballage, whatever the hell. There's so many guys out there. But I think for me, I love what we have here. I love Miles. I love Kenny G. Boston Scott. I think that this dude is just so dependable. And I get it. Look, he doesn't flash in a lot of places. But for me, being dependable is a good thing. And he can provide you that Swiss Army knife. And he helps you on special teams. So, yeah, I was torn here. Jason Huntley, provides you also that special teams. And he's a lot better, in the kick return game. Love to see him there. Kennedy Brooks hasn't shown much. So this last preseason game is very important for those guys. I'll be real with you. At this point, if we don't bring in a veteran, I have us keeping 3. So Boston Scott is that 3rd guy for me right now. But if you were to add somebody else, I could see them being added to the room, but I could also see them letting go of Boston Scott or possibly trying to make a trade because there's definitely some value for Boston Scott. And I'd hate to see him go. I love the guy. But if you were to add a power back and you feel you get away with Miles and Kenny G as your top 2 backs, I love those guys. So I think that'd be great. But I don't think that it's impossible thing for the Eagles to keep 4 running backs here. So that was one of the things I thought about. Maybe Kennedy Brooks really shows out here, and you don't need to. I really don't know. I'm looking forward to this game tomorrow. I can tell you that much because there are a lot of questions to be answered. And another big question is at the wide receiver position. And, we know the top guys, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Quez Watkins, Zach Pascal. Those 4 are going to make this team, and they're going to feast. All 4 of them. Cannot wait to see what they do. But beyond that, do we keep a 5th, a 6th? That is the question we need to be asking. So you guys know in the last one I had us keeping 6. And my thought process is because of Jalen Reagor's money, unless you can trade him, this guy is on the team. Now, once again, about 3 months ago, we talked about, they tried to trade him to the Ravens for Chuck Clark. Maybe with what they've seen from their young safeties, maybe they're willing to part with him. Maybe Reagor's been looking a little bit better to them. Whatever it is, maybe that move could be made. That would maybe alter how many I'm keeping here, but I've got Reagor still on this team. And then it becomes who makes it beyond that. Now, Deon Cain, you guys know I've been very high on him. I've been talking about him, and just this past preseason game, he showed everyone else why exactly I've been talking about him. Now, this kid has got some damn talent, but he's not exactly, a superstar receiver. But what he needs to be able to do is help you on special teams like all of these other guys you're looking at here can do. Greg Ward, Britton Covey, Devin Allen, John Hightower. So you got to be able to help out there. In last preseason game, he saw a lot of special team snaps. So that's a good sign. You want to see him getting reps in. So maybe he can change my mind. But I'll be honest with you, I almost changed it. But because of at the end of the show, you'll see when we get into special teams, everything like that. But let's talk about it now. Britton Covey is somebody to me that I think, this past game and maybe past week, people have been, falling off with him because of the fact that, he had that torn ligament in his thumb. So you get a torn ligament, that's going to kind of affect you. I love the toughness, though, that the kid was limited the next, like the day after or the day after that, whatever. But he was right back to practice. You love to see the toughness of this little guy. And this special teams unit needs a desperate spark. So that is one of the big reasons. But again, if Jalen Reagor is not on this roster, if you trade him, I think you could replace Reagor with Deon Cain, and then you could possibly be keeping 6 again. And I think if you get rid of Reagor, you definitely could keep Cain and Covey. So this is very intriguing. We will see how these next few days play out. But for now, the top 2 dogs, I feel very excited about that. Then Watkins, Pascal, and Reagor. And then if Reagor isn't panning out, again, you have Covey as depth in the slot, and then you have a return guy. Now, is this kid ready? Is he NFL ready? I really don't know. And with that torn ligament, it made things harder to tell. So I'm really hoping to see a lot of him in the return game. I haven't seen much. So I'd like to see more. If not, I'm probably going to take him off and replace him with Deon Cain. So I love to see competition, though. So that's something that has me excited about this offense. There's actually competition. And there's competition at tight end as well. You got Goddard obviously leading the way as your wide tight end. But then you've got your H-back and Jack Stoll, and then your F-type tight end and Grant Calcaterra. Got your jack of all trades with Richard Rodgers, and then Noah Togiai has really been impressing, man. He's really been improving in all areas. So I think Richard Rodgers and Noah Togiai, when Calcaterra was out, really took that opportunity to show what they've got. We know what Richard Rodgers is, but Togiai continues to improve. We all love Tyree Jackson. He'll start the season on the PUP list. Jaden Graham out for the year, so he didn't even get to do anything. That's unfortunate for him, but I think we are probably going to, last year, I think we kept 4, but this time around, I think we're going to keep 3. I'd mentioned them, the first 3, their roles, the Y-type tight end in Dallas Goedert, the H-back in Jack Stoll, the F-type tight end, that Zach Ertz receiving type role. I'm giving that to Grant Calcaterra, and I understand he missed some practice, but I really love the upside of this kid, love the relationship with Jalen Hurts. I just love all of it. I think this kid could beat out Togiai, and I think Togiai is definitely a candidate for practice squad, but I think another team will probably come in and swoop him up. So that's very unfortunate. But I think the Eagles go with 3 tight ends here, and I think Tyree Jackson ends up on the PUP list. Apparently, Herschel doesn't want to shut up, so I apologize if you can hear that. But anyways, I'm going to keep it rolling because I'm trying to get someone to get this stupid dog. Anyways, so on to the tackles. Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, 2 of the best tackles in the game, the best duo in the game. You love to see it. Lane Johnson looking better than ever. Jordan Mailata continues to improve. I cannot wait to see these guys in action. But who is the depth behind them? Brett Toth is on the PUP list, so he is going to be out for at least 4 weeks. But LaRaven Clark, Andre Dillard, Love Andre Dillard as a backup. He's got some trade value. So can you get some kind of trade for him? If so, that makes things a little more interesting. This offensive line, this was hard for me to really pinpoint if I wanted to keep 9, 10 with guys with injury history, with guys already injured. It made things complicated. Now, on to the guards, you look at Dickerson, Sayamalu. Love those guys right there. And Sayamalu is definitely being slept on. He has been slept on his whole career. But beyond that, you've got Opeta, Awasika, Jack Driscoll, Josh Sills. So you've got guys with versatility in there that can play guard as well in Driscoll, Sills, Awasika. So versatility will help you make this team as well. You're going to be watching this offensive line very close to see who wants to make this roster. But at center, you've got Kelsey, Juergens, the guy of the future. Jack Anderson provides versatility. So does Cameron, Tom. All three of those guys can play center, and well, they're trying to teach Juergens guard. So versatility is a must. But I did have 9 last time, but this is where I added, when I took off the quarterback, I added another offensive lineman. And look, Brett Toth will be back in week 5, but until then, I have no idea why Jack Driscoll is green there, not white. I guess it didn't say right. But anyways, he's a backup. Dude is a swing tackle, though. So maybe you want to consider him the starter at swing tackle. Sure, that's what we'll call it. So he can provide depth at right guard, right tackle, left guard. He's even dabbled at left tackle, tried to learn center during COVID times. So I love it. Well, I mean, we're still in those times, but at the beginning. So honestly, this is the best offensive line in the game, but you want to have depth. So unless Andre Dillard gets traded, I think LaRaven Clark, I like the guy, but I had him off the roster last time. This is really hard for me. I really think he's talented, but you've got Driscoll who can play right tackle. You've got Dillard who can play left tackle. So there could be 9 here, but I have us at 10. So this is what I changed here this time. And look, for me, I think that, we could definitely be at 9. It just, we're going to see if any of these guys are on the move here coming up. And we know we've, heard, well, I've been trying to talk about it forever, but when I made that show, if you guys remember at the beginning of the offseason, we talked about all of the people that were candidates to be traded. And a lot of those guys are still here. Well, Dillard, Reagor. So we'll see if any of them are on the move, but it's going to be exciting times these next few days here, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get on to this defense here. Got a couple comments. Let me check those out real quick. My man Drew in the building. What is going on, my man? I'm definitely feeling better. Appreciate you, dude. Yes, it's time. Last preseason game tomorrow. Hope you're doing well. Don't trade Dillard. Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. But if they do, that's how I see us keeping it at 9. But I would keep him. I still feel that way. Love to have that depth there. Carson is knees. It's crazy how people want to ignore that. Which Carson Strong? Nobody ignored that. That is literally what I said. Why he was not drafted. Why? Yeah, that is why I talked about it. So on to the defense. Let's get into the interior defensive line first. So everybody talked about all offseason. Who's playing over who? When I try to teach them who's playing next to who. So you got Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Javon Hargrave right there in the middle. And oh my God, does that get me excited. Now, if you're wondering why it's like this rather than just defensive end, defensive tackles, it's because, well, we run odd fronts a lot of the time. So you're going to see things like this where Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Hargrave are next to each other. So you've got that. You've got 5-2 where they'll be in there together. But then you've got things like nickel where it's an even front. You'll have things like this you see. So there are a lot of variations, a lot of multiple schemes here to keep in mind. So we're breaking these guys down by what their roles are, as we've been doing all off season, just trying to help people to understand what this defense is and what things are going to look like. So interior defensive line, these are the nose tackles, the defensive tackles, your 0, 1, 2, 3 techniques, maybe sometimes 4 and 5 with this versatile scheme. So you're going to see a lot of things, but this is a tough one for me too, because look, the top 4, Milton Williams is the future, baby. He will be taking over for Fletcher Cox then. I hope Hargrave gets that extension we talked about months ago, but loving this interior defensive line. But hey, Marvin Wilson's been looking damn good. Rennell Wren's been stepping it up. Kobe Smith has had some plays, and I really liked Marlon Tuipulotu, how much he's developed. Now, this is another hard one. Again, I talked about this last time, but I left him off again. Marlon Tuipulotu, I wanted to keep him on here. He's got some versatility. I don't think he can really play nose tackle in the NFL, but I do like the kid. So I wanted to put him on here. I thought I was going to do that when I took the quarterback off. Ended up putting another offensive lineman on. But if you look at this the way I have this broken down, I do have 10 defensive linemen here. You will see. So you've got 4 interior defensive linemen, and I think that gets the job done there. So very, very pleased with what you've got there. Then when you're looking at edge rushers, you have your guys that are playing outside linebacker, the weak side linebacker, and defensive end. So I think, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett, all going to see a lot of starting snaps. And then beyond that, who wants to be that fourth guy? And I think, Sweat's going to be the leader of the pack, but Graham, 34 years old, he's still looking great. So I can't wait to see what he does. But for me, I have us keep him 4. So we had 4 interior. That's 4 edge rushers. But remember, the Sam linebackers are edge rushers. And most of the time, I'm considering them on the line a lot of times. So we're going to consider them, and you'll see how many I keep. So again, 4 here: Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett, and Teron Jackson. I think that this is going to be a great edge rusher rotation. Excited to see it. And then at Sam linebacker, you guys know my number 1 priority in free agency is Hassan Reddick. Holy shit, I still can't believe we've got him. This dude is going to feast. And we talk about the versatility of this guy. A Sam linebacker and Jannard Avery, a guy that's, trying out for a role, or a guy that's literally made for the role. So quite the upgrade there. And we talk about being a pass rush specialist, 23.5 sacks the last 2 years. Holy shit. But he can drop in coverage. He started his career as an inside linebacker. So really excited about what he's going to be able to do in Jonathan Gannon's schemes. I can't wait to see how he uses them. But beyond that, we have depth too. So Patrick Johnson last year saw a lot of snaps over Jannard Avery, a lot of things going on there. And I've seen improvement from Patrick Johnson, but you guys know from the moment we drafted Kyron Johnson, I've been thrilled because this dude runs a 4.4. He also started as an inside linebacker, ended up playing defensive end the last couple of years. And I just really feel that this kid, he's perfect. He is the perfect mold for what we're looking for in a Sam linebacker. And I think he could be that backup to Hassan Reddick. So I have Kyron Johnson actually beating out Patrick Johnson. And look, they've actually been competing, and I cannot wait to see tomorrow what it looks like. So really excited to see how that battle ends. But I'm just happy that we have competition all across the damn board. And, oh, yeah, Hassan Reddick. So, yeah, pretty excited about that. But we're going to keep her moving. Got a couple comments. Let me check these real quick, and we'll get to linebackers, everybody else. I was going to say, if you remember, Sean, from I want to say it was the quarterback. It was the quarterback breakdown in the draft. I did every single position. I broke them down. Carson Strong was one of those guys that I thought this is where the Eagles need to focus. Not one of the first rounders, second rounders people were talking about. I thought Carson Strong in the 7th round would be a good idea. So that I've been trying to talk about the fact that if it weren't for that knee injury, this kid would have been a much higher pick, and maybe 4th round, 5th round. Not saying he's, the best out there. I'm just saying the kid's got talent. So 100% agree with you, Sean. And I don't know, if the Eagles, are trying to keep him on bubble wrap, or if they're just, trying to play games with people. So it could be all of those things. So a great point made by Sharon here, and something I always try to bring up. So you got to keep those kind of things in mind for sure. Been telling people to check your videos talking about extending Hargrave. Yeah, my man, I appreciate you. And look, we talked about that a long time ago because I wanted people to understand that the Eagles had cap space at the beginning of this season, but I also wanted them to understand that we can create it whenever we want more. So you can do that by extending people I would like to be part of this future. And that's one of those guys. He was one of the top guys we talked about. So appreciate you, my man, sending them in the right direction. Defense is looking fire. You're damn right, my man. I cannot wait. I'm ready to run through a wall. Not sure if you just saw some of those schemes I just showed you, but go check out some of those videos I've made showing all the different schemes we'll use, the versatility of these players. I break it down into detail right now, just trying to go over the roster, but we'll happily answer any questions. But yeah, it makes me ready to run through a wall, my man. Definitely. Can't wait until Kyron blossoms. Me either. I am very excited about that young man. So let's get into some of these real linebackers. Now, a lot of these guys off the ball linebackers, we added Nakobe Dean, Kaiser White, but this guy, Kaiser White, leader of the pack here, baby. Dude can run sideline to sideline. He's a run-stopping machine, but he also can help us in pass protection. You guys remember from the free agency special, this was also one of my top free agent priorities. This guy, he and TJ Edwards, we talked about, could help a young man if we draft them in the future. Oh, my God. And we drafted him. We got Nakobe Dean, and in the 3rd effing round. I don't know how. I don't. But for me, when you're looking at these guys, I think I totally passed over what I was supposed to, but here is the entire list of these guys, and I think that, Nakobe Dean is the future here, but TJ Edwards looks vastly improved. Love it. I love these guys. And I love saying that our linebacker room actually has competition. Oh, hell yeah. Now, beyond that, Davion Taylor, third round pick a couple years ago, hasn't really panned out or stayed healthy, but he's got the talent. So I'm not sure that the Eagles feel they want to give up on him just yet. Sean Bradley, this dude really helps out on special teams. Really love this kid. Almost didn't have him on this roster, but dude, it is so hard to keep him off. I love this kid, and I really think he provides you depth. Keep 5 linebackers. Think that's what we kept last year, and I love what he brings to this team, man. Just Philly made, and this dude, you need special teams. All facets of the game are important. So I think having someone like him on this roster would be a plus. So I kept him on here. Now, cornerbacks, holy shenanigans. This one, we've still got 11 guys competing at corner. We know the top 3. We know Slay, Bradbury, Maddox. Oh, hell yeah. But beyond that, who's going to make this roster? So we've talked about the versatility of a lot of these guys. Gary Vincent, Mac McCain, Zach McPherson, Josiah Scott, Josh Joby, Mario Goodrich, Josh Blackwell, all these guys. They can help you inside, outside. Some can play a little free safety. I mean, that is a great thing to have. So you're seeing, a reoccurring theme here. But these guys, oh, dude, I love the fact that they're pushing each other. That's what we haven't had. A lot of the times it's who's making this roster because this other guy sucks. This year it was, oh, man, we've got so much talent here. Who's going to make it? Now, at corner, I kept this the same. I've got it the same as last time. I really feel it's going to be hard for this team. Now, Zach McPherson's making this team. But Tay Gowan and Josh Jobe, for me, I just can't leave them off this roster. I just feel that the upside is too high. And if you waive one of these guys, hoping that they'll be on the practice squad, I can guarantee you they will not be on that practice squad. By Wednesday, they will have a new team. So I'm not sure that we can pull the trigger there. Now, the hard one for me here was Josiah Scott. Now, if it weren't for that injury, maybe things would be going a little bit differently today. But because of that injury, and an unfortunate one, but I don't know the severity of it, but it is keeping him out right now in the most important time for him where he needs to be pushing because Josh Jobe can help out as that nickel corner, that free safety, that special teamer, and he can return the ball too. So he adds a little something extra on top of it. So hoping Josiah Scott can, return to, 100% health there and, do what he can. But it's unfortunate to see because I really like what Josiah Scott was able to do. And maybe if he's back tomorrow playing and looks good, maybe I tweak that a little bit because he helps you essentially having a cornerback and a safety on the roster. So I really feel that he could make this roster. It's going to be intriguing to see because here at 144 tackles. Yes, he did. You guys can go check out all those videos, the highlight videos, all his stats, his bio. You want to know how many tackles, interceptions, tackles for a loss, whatever you're looking for, you can go check out. That's actually my highest viewed video, I think, the Kaiser White highlight one. Pretty wild. There's also a breakdown of it. You guys can check out the videos from before we signed him when I talked about why we should sign him, whatever you guys want to see. But Sharon says it right here. Kaiser White, there is a very big reason why I wanted him so desperately. And it's not just that he's a Philly-made dude that, he brings everything to the table that you needed. You needed a guy that could play nickel linebacker or run-stopping linebacker. He does it all. And he's going to be able to help Nakobe Dean. You have TJ Edwards here. I'm really, really excited about this defense. So let's go, baby. Holy shenanigans indeed, my friend. It is quite exciting. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's go. On to the safeties here. You see, look, this again, we just traded Ugo Amadi, and I love that, how he was able to get something for nothing. But this is a great competition here between Kayvon, Reed, Jaquiski, and Andre. And look, this might seem crazy to you, but I didn't change this either. I kept us at 5. I think Reed would be a great candidate for the practice squad. Another team could swoop him up. He's been looking good. See how he looks tomorrow. But Epps and Harris leading the way. I know Tart was dealing with some personal issues, so I'm not holding that against him like a lot of people are. He got the most snaps on defense last preseason game, so they're trying to get him up to speed. And this dude was laying people out, so I still feel he makes this roster. Kayvon, you don't give up on just yet. And then Andre Sacheret, he brings that, not only that free safety depth, man, he brings you, and he can play a little strong safety if you wanted, but nickel corner depth. And he's a special teams ace. For me, it's hard to leave that kid off the roster. I like Reed Blankenship, but I just couldn't do it. So those were the 5 safeties I kept. But let's get into this special team. Michael Clay's unit. And we've talked about a lot of these guys so far when it comes to the return game. But let's talk about the specialists first. You guys obviously know who they are. Rick Lovato, Sipos, and Elliott. Thought maybe, with that extra roster spot, bringing in an extra punter to compete. No, did not happen. So there is the 3, and that makes it 53, ladies and gentlemen. But I got a little bonus round here for you. Let's take a look at the guys that are competing, and they bring something to the game in the return game. So these are the guys that are bringing a little something extra at their position and showing that they can do more than just run the ball, catch the ball, defend the ball, whatever they're doing. So I think that, looking at this, finally having competition, the return game could actually be something scary. So this is why when we talked about the receivers earlier, I still have Covey here, man. I just feel you need a spark there. I'd love to see it from Reagor, but I'm not sure yet. If maybe he does something this week and really solidifies he's got something, he's going to make this roster, then okay. Then you only keep 5. And then maybe we keep Marlon Tuapolo too. Okay, that's great. But obviously, a lot's going to come down to what I see tomorrow. But you've got guys that can help out there. And man, if all those guys make the rosters as I have it, that would be the depth there. So really excited about it. Really think that this team is building a contender. And I think by this year, we could be doing that. So, and we talk about all 3 facets of the game are important. So when you start looking good on special teams too, that's a great thing. So I'm really excited about this. Same about Tart. Really think the experience is valuable for sure. Yes, we talked about adding a veteran presence. We talked about specifically adding Jaquisi Tart. So I think that adding him was huge, and it was unfortunate he was out the last couple of weeks, but let's hope that he gets up to speed and shows us even more this week because I was really excited. So looking forward to it tomorrow. Now, on to the positional count. Let's recap how many we kept at each position. So 24 on offense still. The numbers that switch were 2 quarterbacks now and 10 offensive linemen. Still have 3 running backs, 6 wide receivers, and 3 tight ends. Now on to the defense. Got obviously 26. So 4 interior defensive linemen, 4 edge rushers, 2 Sam linebackers. So that gives you 10 defensive linemen. And then you've got 5 linebackers, 6 cornerbacks, 5 safety. And I know, 11 in the secondary. That seems pretty wild to me too. But just because of the special teams and just because of some of the talent these guys have for the future, I don't know that you can let them go. So can't wait to watch tomorrow. Cannot wait to see, what I can and really just try to make another 53-man projection because I'm just fiending for this game. I need to see more. So it's going to be all backups. I know a lot of people hate it, and I know it's vanilla this, vanilla that, but these kids are fighting for jobs, and I'm looking for certain things. I know what I'm watching, so I'm not going to overreact to good or bad, and that happens to a lot of people out there. So I'm going to break it down. You guys know I'm going to be here for this game, so we can actually talk about it. So let's get it going, baby. Let's look at this depth chart as an actual depth chart here. So we'll see. Same about Tart. So, yep, they agree that he can hit. Yes, yep. So now on to the offense. Let's look at this depth chart here. Had us keeping 2 here. So Hurts and Minshew. Got Sanders, Gainwell, Scott. Now, at wide receiver, the reason I have it like this is because these guys are interchangeable. I mean, there could be, A.J. Brown at X, Devontae Smith could be at X, at Z, whatever you want to move around. But in the slot, got Quez, Zach Pascal, Britton Covey. Dude, it doesn't matter. You can move all of these guys around. But, dude, we have A.J. Brown. That's all I want to say. The guys you see in green, they are new to the roster. Red, obviously, on the PUP list. So we were correct in that a few months ago, talking about Tyree and Brett probably starting the season there. That is what will happen. Already been placed there. So you see those guys on the line and now at tight end. So 3 tight ends there. And honestly, I almost kept 4 tight ends just because Tyree being out, the injury history with Goddard, Stoll, Calcaterra. So, hey, we'll see. I'm sure things will change by my next one next week. I'll probably be doing it on Monday, maybe even Tuesday morning. We'll see how things work out. But there is the offense for you. You see the best line in the game. Obviously, Jack Driscoll can help at right guard and right tackle. Raven Clark, predominantly left tackle, could help if he needed to, but just tossed him in there. So let's move on to the defense now. You've got to look at how they're labeled. This isn't exactly how I showed you the schemes. You know how they'll be lining up, but I put them in their categories. So you've got your edge rushers here up at the top with Josh Sweat, Graham, Derek Barnett, Teron Jackson. Then you've got your defensive tackles in Cox, Hargrave, and Milton Williams. And then you're a monster nose tackle, Jordan Davis by himself. Sam linebackers, Reddick and Kyron Johnson. Then your linebackers, man, those 5, I love it. Kaiser White, Davian Taylor, TJ Edwards, Nakobe Dean, Sean Bradley. All aboard, baby. Let's go. Then that secondary, we had 6 there. You see Slay, Bradbury, Maddox. Help those young men in Gowan, McPherson, and Job for the future. I love that as well. Then at safety, you see Epps and Harris starting with Tart, Wallace, Sasha Ray. For me, It's a Super Bowl contending roster. I really don't care what anyone else says. And we talked about adding those specific pieces you see in green, and that is exactly what Howie Roseman did. So round of applause for him, and let's go kick some ass. Now I'll show you the last end of it. The special teams, obviously the kicker, punter, long snapper, holder. We see the return specialist, hoping Covey can make it. If he doesn't show much this game, I'm probably going to replace him with Deion Kane. Maybe we'll see a Reagor trade. Who knows what could happen, but a lot of excitement to be had, ladies and gentlemen, because there's actual competition at each position. So you love to see it. You love to see it. So let me know down below your thoughts, whether you're watching this right now, you're watching this later. Let me know how you felt about this projected 53-man roster and depth chart. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Who do you have making the roster that I didn't? Who, where, what, how many? Let me know. But I hope you're all off to a great start to your weekend here. It's Friday. Let's go. Cannot wait. Preseason football tomorrow. I will be back. We'll be doing some pregame stuff. And we'll talk at halftime, and then we will talk after the game. Really looking forward to it. I cannot believe football is this close, man. Ready to run through an effing wall. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a great weekend, though. If you need me before tomorrow, please feel free to reach out, whether you want to talk about birds, life, whatever it is. I appreciate you guys taking the time. And again, if you enjoyed this content, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You can turn that notification bell on, and you will know when I'm going live, and we'll talk birds together, baby. So have yourselves a great weekend. Stay safe. I'm Jimmy Smith. This is On the Road to Victory. So thanks. And until next time, go birds!